TGIF, people. It is your boy Mustache Matt. Friday the 8th, rocking it solo for members only this morning. Ryan is on a field trip with one of his kids. So when he gets back, we're gonna hop on and do the public video. We decided to switch it up today, decided to do the solo private, and we're both gonna hop on for the public. Then when we get done, if there's time, me and him or just me are gonna make a couple more of the NFL videos. If not, we'll get those done tomorrow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the slate tonight. Let me screen share this. It's been a rough beginning of the week, a rough week since the win last week, but that's what happened. So we're ready to bounce back tonight. I like this slate a lot. It seems a lot of the big money guys are in real good spots. So let's run through it. Let me get mine open. All right, starting at point guard. Steph Curry, he's out, so we're not playing him. Victor Oladipo. I like Oladipo quite a bit here. Looking at this slate and studying it this morning, obviously I'm going to do a lot more extensive research this afternoon. I like this Cleveland-Indiana game a ton. This is a game I might game stack, run like 2-2. Problem is if you run Oladipo and Bron, you're using up a lot of your salary. Bron's tough here with how expensive he is. I like Oladipo quite a bit. I think this game is a close game. It's like a 4-point spread. I think Indiana plays well. They've been playing really well offensively. I bet they get up for this game. I like Oladipo quite a bit here. Kyle Lowry. I don't hate Lowry here as a GPP like tournament option, but I'm not looking to go here in Memphis with a full slate. So I think there's just no need. Kemba Walker. We like Kemba at home. He's played really well the past 2 games. I could get fully on board here. Charlotte, is going to be playing tough after that game against Golden State. So blowout concern here. Chicago played well last game. I could get on board with Kemba here. Out of this group right here, like Lowry, Kemba, Irving, even a little bit below that, I like Kemba the most. Kyrie, I'm not playing Kyrie here. I hardly ever play Kyrie, so there's no chance I'm playing him in San Antonio. Drew Holiday. I could get on board with Holiday. I think he's a fine cash game option. There's obviously blowout potential with Sacramento, and he showed nice upside the past 2 games. 50 balls from him aren't going to come very often, but he just had one 2 games ago against Golden State. He really impressed me in that game. He's playing well right now. I think you got to look at a couple of these New Orleans pieces. Obviously, I want to go to Cousins here against his old squad, but he's just so expensive. The blowout concern is real here. New Orleans played really well towards the end of that game against Denver, so I wouldn't be surprised if they carried that over into tonight. I think you can look at the New Orleans guys, but not a must for me. Eric Bledsoe. I think Eric Bledsoe is fine in cash. Obviously, I don't like this game in terms of the pace, but at 6'7", I think he's fine here. If you look at his game log, he's hitting value the majority of the times at that price. Elf's a tough one here. I like Elf in this spot. I just have a hard time going back here. He really hurt me the other night with a 25. Obviously I was all over him the game against Oklahoma City when he threw up 43, but he hasn't touched 40 since then. I like Elf. If I run 3 lineups, I'll have Elf in 1. No chance I'll have him in 3. Unlikely I'll have him in 2, but I'll definitely have him in 1. I like to have exposure to this guy at 6'6". He's a triple-double waiting to happen, so I'm fine with him. Darren Collison. I think that Collison's fine here because I like this game stack, but I much prefer Oladipo, and I'm probably not playing both. I guess you can. He just underperforms too often for me. Rondo, yeah, I don't mind going right back to Rondo here. There's just no reason not to at 5'9". Like we said, we like the New Orleans pieces. The blowout's the only thing. But at 6K, aside from the last game, he was hovering around 40 DK points. We'll take that all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Reggie Jackson. This is one I want to pull up real quick and see how he's done against Golden State. So let's check out Reggie Jackson. So this year, I know they played 1 time, so let's see how he did in that game. He had 22 and 5. He was fine. Obviously a different game. I don't love Reggie Jackson here because I never love Reggie Jackson. At under 6K though, if you like that play, I could get on board here, sure. Chris Dunn, he looks really good right now. I'm fine with Dunn here, especially in tournaments. Obviously, I'm not touching him in cash, but 35 plus and 2 in a row. Dunn is a guy that I like often. So, yeah, I definitely like him here. Jamal Murray, no thanks. I know he's had a price increase because we know his upside, but I mean, if he I'm just not going here on the road. Denver, it's just not for me. Dwayne Wade, I could get on board with Wade here. He kind of disappointed last game with only 15. That game just played out really weird. He only scored 4 points. He only shot the ball 5 times. That's not normal for him. The price decrease, like I said, I like this game quite a bit. I think you can use Wade as a main cog here. Dennis Smith is questionable. So we have to, see that. I'm not really looking at him anyways, but if he's out, I have more interest in Berea. Avery Bradley, no. Malcolm Brogdon. I could see Malcolm Brogdon in cash. I'm not touching him in GPPs. At 4.8, I could see it. Again, not the sexiest play in the world, but sure. Mario Chalmers, yeah, no. As Ryan likes to make fun of me with those. JJ Barea, I could get on board with Barea here, especially if D. Smith is out. Barea is just a stud right now. I don't know where this came from, but under 5K, we've seen him hit upside, and even when he's not hitting upside, he's like hovering around 30, at least in the 20s, so he's definitely not going to kill you. Yeah, I could definitely see it here. Jerry and Grant, no, back-to-back single-digit games. DJ Augustine, no thank you, even though I like this game. George Hill, no. Patty Mills, I could see here. Not really a game I'm targeting, but at 4K, I like San Antonio in this spot. I could see using Mills here. Rozier, no. Jaylen Brown is back. Livingston, no. Ish Smith, no. Let's see, is there anyone else down here we like? Derrick Rose, no. I don't hate Fred VanVleet here. He really didn't play well against Phoenix, and he had 21 DK points. At 3.7, that's not going to kill you by any means. I think VanVleet is playable in all formats, to be quite honest. The spot he's in with no DeLon Wright, I like VanVleet at 3.7. Not a great matchup, but I don't really care about that with a 3.7 guy. Quinn Cook, if you want to go back to Quinn Cook, that's fine. Not really my cup of tea, but sure. That's pretty much what I'm looking at point guards for now. If there's other values that come out, we'll talk over them then. Shooting guard. So we have the same two at the top that we did for point guard. We know about Curry. Oladipo, yeah. I would say I would play Oladipo at shooting guard almost always, but I don't love point guard tonight. I do like Elf, and there's a couple other guys I like, so I probably will play Oladipo at the 2, but I don't hate him at the 1 either. DeMar DeRozan, I can't really see using him in this matchup in GPPs, but in cash, I think he's way more than fine. His past 3 games, he's coming at killing cash game value. I do think he takes a hit because of this Memphis matchup, which is why I don't really like his upside in GPPs, but I think he's solid for cash for sure. Tyreek Evans, I really didn't like what I saw from Reek last game. He looked good against Minnesota, and obviously he looked great against Cleveland, but personally it's not for me at 7.5. Klay Thompson, no. Will Barton, I could see using Will Barton in GPPs. He's a guy I wouldn't touch in cash games, but I think he has GPP upside. We know he has GPP upside. He just dropped 46 at Dallas. He dropped 51 against Chicago. If he doesn't hit upside, at 7K, you need him to get in the 30s, and he's no guarantee to get there. But he's got 50-point upside for sure, especially in this Denver offense that really needs to win. Chris Middleton. Middleton's starting to play more like the cash game guy that we know him for. His price is still kind of up there. If you love Middleton, I could really see him in all formats, but I'm not really looking at him in any format, if that makes sense. Eric Bledsoe, we went over. Gary Harris. Man, every time I look at Harris's game log, I get more and more impressed. He's firmly in play for me here at 6'4". Just look at what he's done. So we pull up Harris's game log. I mean, he's over 35 in all 4 of those games except for one where he's 32. I mean, he's crushing value in both formats. Looking at this more, he's one of my top plays on this slate. He's shooting really well. He's made 3 threes in 3 out of these past 4 games. The other stats are there. I mean, the rebounds are consistent. The assists are consistent. Steals are consistent. I'm all about Harris, either format. Too cheap still. Yeah, Nick Batum. I'm going right back to Batum here. I like what I saw from Batum. As we've talked about, his numbers have just continued to get better game after game. He actually could have played a lot better last game. He didn't really play well until the second half, but he caught fire and gave us a bunch of fantasy points in the third quarter. I'm going right back here at 6-1. It's a good matchup. Obviously, there's blowout potential here, but there's blowout potential all over the board. I don't mind Batum as like a one-off. I'm not stacking Charlotte, but I do like Batum. I like Kemba. I think you could run them together. I think you could run them apart. Probably wouldn't run many more than that if I ran those 2. Probably 2 Charlotte guys max on this slate in the same lineup. Chris Dunn, we went over. Jamal Murray. Jonathan Simmons, sure, especially for cash and especially because Evan Fournier is out. So we'll get to a sleeper I like. But, yeah, Simmons is even in a better spot. No Ross, no Fournier. Sign me up for some Simmons and cash. Justin Holiday. Nah, too inconsistent for me. Denzel Valentine played well last game, but again, with a lot of these Bulls guys, I just don't know where to go. So why even mess with it when you got so many other options? Avery Bradley, no. Lamb, no. Marcus Smart, really disappointed last game, and Jaylen Brown is back. Buddy Buckets was in the perfect lineup last game. Revenge game for Buddy Buckets, man. Woo! Last 2 games. 34 and 36. Sign me up for some Buddy Buckets here. I like this price range quite a bit. I'm going to be on Healed here. You can mark that down. Doubt, although I guess he could at 5K make the 5-pack. But even if he doesn't, he'll be right on the top guys I'm playing. I love this 5K range, and he's a guy I'm plugging in. Bogdanovich, I could see here in this game stack. Not a guy I love, but I think he can get you 30 tonight at 5K. Iguodala. Iguodala's in play here, especially if Draymond's out. If Draymond's in, not really going here, but you saw him play 30 minutes and play really well, 29 DK points their last game. So, yeah, I could get right back on board there. Danny Green. I could see using Danny Green here for sure. And actually, I like it as a GPP option because a lot of people, and as they should be, are going to be on Rudy Gay, and I like Rudy Gay a lot. Not nearly as many people are going to be on Green. Green's had 30 in back-to-back games, 4.5K. I mean that's a real easy one for me to zag where everyone else is zigs, and the same spot for Green. He's played 30+ minutes. I'm all about him here. Lance Stevenson, nah, but if Corey Joseph is out, he might see some more minutes. So sure, if you love him. Ryan's favorite player, Wes Matthews, no. Augustine. JR, I guess you could use JR in like a game stack. Not really a guy I'm like dying to use. No to Powell. Yeah, I could also see using Frank Mason here at 3.7. We saw the price increase after the 3K, but he's seen his numbers go up in every game since then. So at 3.7, I think Mason's a nice value play. And like we always talk about, he's a point guard, so he'll just walk into points just if he plays the minutes, and it looks like he's going to play around 20 minutes. Aaron Aflalo, he's a guy I'm definitely looking at with no Fournier. Got to wait and see. If he's starting, though, I have interest here. Not really a great fantasy player, but we've seen him do it in the past. So at 3.4K, I could get on board with Aflalo here as part of an Orlando stack. Let's say you use Peyton Vucevic and you use Aflalo as your third. I mean, a lot of guys are priced up today, so you're going to need some cheaper options. If he's starting, I think he's definitely in play, either format. All right, let's shift it over to small forward. Yeah, let's talk about – got a couple big boys here. Between Bron and Giannis, it's Bron for me tonight. I can't decide right now between Bron and Cousins who my favorite guy is, but I'm leaning Bron. Cousins balled against Sacramento and the whole revenge narrative. I would definitely go Cousins if it were in Sacramento, but I think Cousins is going to be the more popular route, and I think Bron just balls here in a good game, a close game. This is a great spot for Bron. The Cavs are playing really well right now, going for a win 14 in a row. They kind of got off to a real slow start against Sacramento on Wednesday, but they picked it up. So I think that carries over. I think LeBron has a monster night tonight. But that being said, in order for him to be GPP viable, he needs to have a monster night. I mean, you need a 70 from him here. So, well, I think that's definitely possible. Not quite sure if I think it's likely or not, and that's going to be the big difference whether I five-pack him or not. Giannis, if you love Giannis, you could always use Giannis. He's got 42 or more DK points in every game this year, so he's probably the safest player out there. That being said, I just like Bron way more. This matchup isn't really for me. Durant, we saw what Durant did when Draymond and Curry were out. I guess if Draymond's out again, you could go right back to KD here. But he's probable. Draymond is, so I'm looking elsewhere. Aaron Gordon, I like Aaron Gordon here. The problem is the price. I mean, he's the example of a GPP option simply because with at this price 8.4, I feel like he either definitely hits GPP value or doesn't hit cash value or come close to it. So he's not a guy I would touch in cash games. But in GPPs, I could get on board because that price tag is going to scare people off. So if you like Aaron Gordon, you like the Magic a lot, go for it. DeMar DeRozan, we discussed. Tyreek. Harrison Barnes, I mean, Mr. Consistent Harrison Barnes, what more can be said? This dude just throws up 30s game after game. He's not expensive. Cash games, as always, just throw him in there if you want. Tobias Harris, I mean, Detroit's going to need some scoring. I could see this being a Tobias Harris night. That said, his upside's capped. I like Batum more. Barnes I like more for cash. I think a lot of people will feel that way. So if you feel type of way about Tobias, roll with it. Thaddeus Young, he balled last game against the Knicks. Or the game before their last game against the Knicks, and he still only had 33 DK points. This is one of those. He was 9 for 11 from the field. He made 2 threes. He doesn't get to the free throw line. So he doesn't get to the free throw line. He doesn't get any assists, and he doesn't make many threes. So he has limited upside. But that being said, I think he's fine for cash games. And if you throw him in a GPP in a game stack, I'm also fine with it. Tatum, no. Rudy Gay, yeah, we're going right back to Gay here. It's hard not to. I like Danny Green as a contrarian option. So let's just say in one lineup I might use Gay, and one I might use Danny Green. I'm by no means like fading Gay here in this spot. He's just too good. 36 and 35 in his last 2 games at 5'2". No Kyle Anderson. You just roll with Rudy Gay. Again, Buddy Buckets. I'm just going to reiterate. I like him a lot. The more I'm looking at this, I like Buddy a lot here. I actually don't necessarily think this is like a blowout. I'm only worried because New Orleans played really well in their last game towards the end, and Sacramento is just horrible offensively. So, yeah, it could be. JaMychal Green, no. I'm not going to Green here. Marcus Morris is playing, but I'm not using him in Sacramento. E'Twaun Moore, I guess you could use E'Twaun Moore here if you like this game. I like Buddy Hield more. I think Buddy will be more popular, but not by enough, and I don't really care about that tonight. Danny Green, we talked about. Wilson Chandler, I got to see it first. I want to use him in GPPs, but how can you? He hasn't had 20 in 4 games, so just no. Jeff Green, I'm really impressed with what I see with Jeff Green. He's played really well for Cleveland. Unlike Wilson Chandler, Jeff Green has 20 or more in his past 4. So, I mean, let's just keep that one simple. If you're playing one of those guys, you're playing Jeff Green, in my opinion. Wait to see it from Chandler. If Chandler burns you, then he burns you. I mean, do you really see many situations where at 4.4K, Chandler is like the difference maker on this slate? I certainly don't. If you do, run him out there in one, and you'll win some money. Wes Matthews, no. Trey Lyles got a bump up, and I see why, because 35 in his last game. If you guys remember, he was a guy I was on right when Millsap got hurt, and especially with Jokic out. He just got his first double-double. It depends how they're going to play. That's my problem with Lyles, because they need to play small in order for him to have a lot of minutes. That being said, he's played 30 and 27 minutes in his last two games, and 27 and 16 minutes and 30 the game before that. 20 plus in 4 straight, including 35 in the last game. Yeah, man, I could get on board with him here. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, no. JR, I guess in a game stack. Marvin Williams, I'm definitely looking at Marvin Williams here. I think it might be a trap, but no Kaminsky, no Zeller. He's going to get all the minutes he can handle. I do think you could drop down to Johnny O'Bryant to be different, but I think Marvin Williams makes so much sense in cash games that you just roll him out there because of the situation he's in. Not a must, but at under 4K, I think that he's in a really good spot. Let's see here. CJ Miles, no. Interesting, but no. Darius Miller, no. I could see using Stanley Johnson here. I know that it's not even getting too cute, because at 3.7, your risk is really minimized. He's not a great point per minutes guy, but if you look at the minutes he's playing right now, he's in the 30s. He had 20 and 34 DK points in his last two. Maybe things are trending up for Stanley here. I don't love it. If you need a guy for 37 and love the rest of your lineup there, sure. Dante Cunningham, Ryan's boy. Yeah, I think I can get on board with Cunningham here in this offense. He looks good right now. He's pounding the glass. 3.6, sign me up for some Cunningham. Korver, another guy. He played really well last game in terms of shooting. 15 points, 4 threes. Fantasy upside's capped because he doesn't do anything else. But, again, he's another guy where if you have, 3-6 left, I'm using Korver over Anunoby. Again, I don't like either of them, and I'm not using either. I'm using Cunningham over them, but that being said, a follow we talked about. Jakar Sampson, we got to go over. I'm not sure what to do with Sampson because at 3.4, he's so cheap, but this is just a trap spot for me for sure. He's going to be really popular. I've seen him as a highest projected guy on a couple different places. He had 28 last game with 16 boards. I mean, that was a dream spot for him. Sure, if he plays 33 minutes again, could that happen? Yes. Are you stupid to use him? No. Will I fade him in GPPs? Yes, because it's Jakar Sampson, and he's going to be really highly owned. I don't care how cheap he is. Anytime a guy like Jakar Sampson is mega chalk, and I'm assuming he is right now, if that turns out not to be true, I'll have a different take. But let's say he is chalk. I'm not going anywhere close to him because I know who this guy is. This guy could easily throw up 11, 7, 6 drafting points in any given game. I definitely would take the under if you told me the over-under was 28 tonight. So I'm off Sampson. That being said, for cash, it makes a ton of sense. 3.4K, like I said, your risk is really minimized. So if you like him, go for it. Yeah. All right, let's check out power forwards. So we got the two big guys right here. We got Boogie Cousins and we got LeBron. I can't decide between them because I'm not sure how much of a blowout this Sacramento game is going to be. Because I actually do like Buddy Hield a lot, so that kind of plays into my interest with Cousins. But this game just has serious blowout potential that I have a hard time paying 11.8 for Cousins here when I do think he's going to be more popular than LeBron. And I like LeBron more. I think this is a great spot for Bron and the Cavs in Indiana. Over under here is like 220. Like I said, I like Oladipo. I like Bron a lot. Sabonis. This is my favorite game of the night. I'm going to rock it. We talked Giannis, Durant. Davis is questionable tonight, so that's something you really have to look at. I don't know if he's going to play. If he does play, that obviously takes you off Cousins a little bit just because it's Davis. Doesn't necessarily take me off Rondo. I know the usage is better without Davis for Rondo, but I don't really care. Davis is good enough offensively where Rondo can make it up with assists. Kevin Love, I like Kevin Love here. Let's say you run this game stack but can't fit LeBron because he's so damn expensive. I like running Love. I think you could run Sabonis, Oladipo, like Love, and that's it, and have 3 guys from that game. And I think all 3 of those guys have really high upside. I'm talking Sabonis on the fact that I heard Miles Turner is questionable. I'm assuming he's not going to play, but again, what do I know? Aaron Gordon, we went over. Draymond is questionable. Not really looking to go here, though, in Detroit. Just not really for me. I could see using LaMarcus Aldridge here. I don't love this game, but I love this price dip. Coming off a bad game, that's just too much recency bias right there. We know what Aldridge is capable of at home in a big-time game. No, I don't love this matchup, but I like this price quite a bit. I think he's viable here. Al Horford played much better than Aldridge. And in cash, I think Horford is a better play. Not necessarily an amazing play because we don't like this matchup. But in GPPs, I'm going Aldridge here. Again, don't love either. I think they're both in play. And the more I look at Horford, 40-plus in 4 straight, 50 ball in his last game. Wow, Horford's actually more in play than I thought. Again, not a guy I love, but for sure in play. I think both these guys are in play. I actually think you could play them both. Zach Randolph, seriously finding the fountain of youth recently. Look at that game log, 48 in 2 of the past 3, 33 in the other. What more do you really need to say? Sabonis, Sabonis is locked in for me if Miles Turner's out. We saw what he did at the beginning of the year with Turner out. I'm not playing him if Turner is in, though. I don't like it. Markkanen, no. Serge coming off a really good game. Don't like this matchup. Not going back there. Pau Gasol, not for me. Rudy, we talked about. I don't know what was up with Fareed. He only got 16 DK points, and this is why I don't like Fareed, because anytime I think he's in a really good spot, he takes 4 shots and only gets 5 boards. No, I'm not going back to Fareed here. I could see him throwing up 30, but just not going to be on my dime. Mirotic is playing, but do not use him. He's probably still scared of Bobby Portis and just running away at all costs. Dirk Nowitzki. We like big men against Milwaukee. I don't necessarily think he's like a big man anymore, but at 4.7, he's pretty damn consistent. I could see it here. Probably have more interest in Powell, especially for GPPs. We'll get there. Speaking of Mr. Portis, Plumlee, no, not for me. I'm not going back there. Kaminsky's out, so we talked about Marvin Williams. No, with Ibaka playing well too, that lessens my interest. We talked about Marvin. Dwight Powell, I could definitely get on board with Powell here. He didn't play well against Boston, but look what he had done the 3 games before that. Milwaukee can't stop big men. This could be a spot for Powell. I don't know why he only played 13 minutes. I know that guy Maxi Kleber played a lot. Not sure if they correlate, but we'll have to look into that. I like Poeltl quite a bit here. He's one of my top value plays on the slate. I just like what he's been doing. If you look at that game log, 21, 31, the 10, obviously awful, and the 22, that's really, really good value at 3.6. I don't think he's going to get 10 times here, but he certainly has 10 times upside here at 3.6K. He's a really good boarder. He's a good offensive guy. Not a guy I'm forcing into my lineups, but with how it's working out, I need some cheap guys, and he's one of the guys I'm looking at. Nope. I'm not going back to Kleber here. Coming off the game of his life. We saw what he did against Brooklyn, though. I don't know. I got to really read more about him. It's funny. I was actually looking at him a couple of games ago, so we'll see. If I see that he's going to be playing a bunch of minutes, how could you not want to go back here at 3-4? I have more interest in him than I do in JaKarr Sampson, simply because I think JaKarr Sampson is going to be a lot more popular. I don't really like either of them, though. That's pretty much it with power forwards. Hopping on into centers. So we got, Boogie, Davis. So let's look at Drummond. See what Drummond's done against Golden State because I'm real interested in that. I could see Drummond absolutely balling in this spot. Let's see how he did against Golden State earlier this year. So he had 8 points and 18 boards, 5 steals, and 5 assists. Interesting. And I know Detroit won that game. They came back in the second half. Let's see how he played against Detroit the year before that, or against Golden State. I'm interested here. So at Golden State, they lost by 20. He only played 27 minutes. He had 12 and 10. And then at home, he had 15 and 9. So I'm not really seeing much there. I like Drummond a lot more this year. So I can get on board with Drummond here. He's just a guy I always have interest in. That said, man, at 9-4, it is hard for him to hit GPP value in a really high-paced game. And you guys probably already know where I'm going, but I like Drummond here. So I'm going right to Vucevic again. Balled out in their last game against Atlanta. Obviously, Denver's not the same spot, but they're also, missing a bunch of their big men. So Vucevic continues to eat tonight. Another reason I have interest in Elf. Good spot for Orlando here. No Fournier. Opens up some shots for other guys. I like Vucevic quite a bit here. Marc Gasol I also like. Also disappointed us. I think a bunch of these guys are in this price range are in play. Gasol, Aldridge, Horford, even Dwight Howard. Kind of a personal preference. I like Gasol. It's hard to argue with what Horford's doing recently, but this seems like it could be a real good spot for Gasol, in my opinion. Dwight Howard. Yeah, I could definitely sorry, I was looking at. Nah, I'm playing Horford over Howard, even though the matchup is better. No, I just looked at Horford's stats again. I mean, they're a wow right now. He's balling. We know about Randolph. Let's see who else we got here. Robin Lopez. Nah, not on a full slate. Not for me, although he's priced right. Valanciunas. Nope. Yeah, as of right now, I mean, the value centers, there aren't too many. Obviously, there's a bunch of guys that have dual positions, so you can play them there. As of right now, I'm locking in Vucevic as much as I can. Or I'm going down and playing like Sabonis or Randolph here. I think there's a few different ways you can go. Like always, there's a bunch of different ways to skin the cat. So yeah, guys, that's their private members only video for today. I know Ryan just got back, so we're gonna hop on and do the public only. Then we'll try to pump out some NFL and get to writing if we have time for NFL, but if not, we'll have that out tomorrow. So yeah, enjoy your Friday. If you're going out, have one on me for sure, because I'll just be chilling at home watching basketball while my wife bugs me in the background and my little puppy has a cone on her face so she can't lick herself. So it's fun times over here at the Bellman household, guys. Let's get it.